Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Arm Nation. Today, hopefully, I'm going to give you a quick review and comparison between the Leupold DeltaPro and the Holosun Red Dot for the pistol. Now, before we go on, a word of warning when you buy a Leupold DeltaPro, because there's a lot of fakes on the market. So make sure you know what you're getting. And here's the box. It should be something like this, or it could change over time. I'm not really sure, but the box is also a telltale whether it's real or not. So there's nothing on the bottom here. Leupold DeltaPro, make sure all the prints are nice and clean and not blurry, and you have like some sort of a sticker for the DeltaPro on the side. Inside, you're gonna get a manual. Also, make sure that the prints are nice and clean and there's no misspelling on the instruction or whatever it came with. And this just came with some looking like this. You got your tools, you got your bikini skin, and then you got your dots. You also get your battery, but this is my battery. Quick, I just noticed inside the box they also have a print, artwork number, parts number. So yeah, if you get the box, make sure you look inside the box too. Okay, that's out of the way. You get the bikini skin. So if you're not using the dot, you can put it on, so you don't get dust and stuff on your emitter. But you end up losing this anyway if you use this on the field. So yeah, it is what it is. At least they give you something, you know. Here's our Leupold DeltaPro. Now I did go ahead and bought the rear iron sight, which will add to the price of it. But I think it's worth it. If you have the DeltaPro, you're gonna definitely need this rear sight, unless you already have a high sight for your pistol. But I think the Pro it's just so adjustable that you really need it. You really want it. Here's a DeltaPro. Make sure it look correct. Now I don't have the imitation Leupold DeltaPro, but back then there's not a lot of high-end red dot on the market, and the Chinese companies, they tend to copy everything. So yeah, they're selling it as an air soft optics, but sometimes they get away with selling as the actual optics. So make sure you bought the right one. Now it does kind of resemble the EOTech red dots, because it has the cover and then the optic inside itself. As you can see, there's a little gap in between. So if you drop this, it's still good. Now this kind of sight has been proven throughout history, throughout its lifespan. The military uses, and various different government agencies also use this dot. Here's a logo. Make sure there's a logo. Yep. Show you everything. So if the next time you bought this dot, make sure it's real. Look at every detail that you can. The bottom. Now when you bought the dot, it doesn't come with the rear iron sight, so keep that in mind. Okay, now here's the Holosun. The Holosun, yeah, that I don't think there's any copy of for the Holosun, but who knows, the Chinese can copy everything, including itself. It's just one of those things. If it makes money, there will be a copy on the market. But Holosun, they constantly coming out with new product. It's just really hard to keep up with them. Now the gun is clear, as you can see. Now let's go over a few things between the DeltaPro and the Holosun HS507K X2. Now they're both micro dot, but the Leupold DeltaPro has a better window. It's a larger window than the Holosun, and that's one of the things that I love about it. Also, the glass is much clearer on the Delta Point than the Holosun. As you can see here, it's very clear. I'm going to show you in a little bit. All right, here's the glass. It's bigger, it's more spacious. Just so hard to show you. There it is. Hope you can see the dot, see how clear it is. And the parallax, you can see the parallax. Perfect. Doesn't move. So that's the Leupold DeltaPro. Is almost 1-to-1 image. And here's the Holosun. Yes, really difficult to get this in. See the parallax? Now the Holosun has a circle dot as opposed to the Delta Point, which only have a dot. Now the Holosun, you can change it to just to have a dot, or just to have circle and circle dot. So you have a choice between a lot of options there. Great. But you know, I like how spacious the DeltaPro Pro window are. That's why a lot of people like about the DeltaPro. Okay, as far as battery compartment and lifespan goes, is that the DeltaPro Pro can have up to 300 hours, a whopping 300 hours of battery life, even though it has an auto on-off. Yes, only 300 hours versus the Holosun. Most of the site is up to 50,000 hours, and it's different if you choose the circle dot to leave the circle dot on. That's gonna run you down to like maybe 20,000 hours, but you know, it's still, you know, way more than the DeltaPro Pro. So that's the one good thing about the Holosun. I mean, come on, Leupold. Stop sitting on your ass and, you know, give us something a little bit better, you know, a little bit better than 300 hours. I mean, it's 2023 and they haven't changed anything since then, you know. It's this is one of the OG red dot, but they haven't changed anything since then. I hope they get off their ass and you know, give us what we deserve in 2023. And, you know, the glass is, of course, is multi-coated, both of them. So in the front, they look very similar, as you can see. You can see the emitter on the Holosun, the red dot, and the Leupold. Let me increase the red dot. Okay. Now the material on the Holosun is aluminum, aircraft grade aluminum, all of it, all around, and you have a rubberized button on the side, which I like it better than the Leupold DeltaPro Pro. The button is in the center, so if you want to change the reticle settings from low to high or high to low, you have to, you know, poke your hand inside there, and when you change it, you can't see the reticle itself, whether it's moving up or down in terms of brightness. So yeah, that's one of the cons of the DeltaPro Pro. But the pros of the DeltaPro is that it's made of also aircraft grade aluminum, and it has a steel covering. As you can see here, there's 2 screws of this covering outside. So it's very durable. As I say, a lot of military branch and government agency, they uses this site for the longest time. And if Leupold don't do anything within a couple of years, I mean, they'll probably phase out this dot because of you know, a couple of problems with you know, the changing of the button and the battery life. But I think the battery life is mostly non-issue because it also have on and off auto sleep, and it's so easy to change. All you have to do is just press this tab right here. It's a little tab. Press it, and the battery goes out. And just put it back on and put that tab back on. Yeah, it's gonna be difficult sometime. There it is. And of course your zero went back to where it was, so you don't have to worry about zeroing it again. Now, the cons about the Leupold DeltaPro is that I think it's one of the major problem. Now there's a rubber gasket in between the side itself and the bottom plate. As you can see here, there's a rubber gasket. And over time, I think, depending on the weather, it could contract and do all kind of stuff. As you can see here, if I squish it, you can see the rubber coming out. Yeah, so that could throw your reticle off a little bit. It could throw your point of impact off a little bit. So that's, if the rubber start to melt, yeah, that's a big problem of this DeltaPro Pro. That's a really big problem. But I guess a lot of people doesn't have this problem. I mean, maybe they didn't notice or something like that. But yeah, that's over time, that little gasket is gonna go out. And having to live in Texas, I mean, the summer it's just brutal. It's like everything melts. So that's one of the biggest con the DeltaPro Pro have versus Holosun and a lot of other red dot on the market. They don't have a rubber gasket like the DeltaPro do. They might have some type of rubber on the bottom, but then it's not built like the DeltaPro Pro, and I don't think it's gonna throw off your side end anytime soon. And I'm going to show you the battery compartment of the Holosun is on the side. So if you want to change out the battery, it's a little bit more difficult than the DeltaPro Pro, but then it's there for a reason. It's like built like that for a reason, so you don't accidentally knock the battery off. Now the Holosun uses the battery 1632 as opposed to DeltaPro Pro 2032. So the Holosun has a smaller battery, but somehow it got a better battery life. Imagine that, new technology. Now the footprint of this Holosun red dot is, I think they use Trigon RMR footprint. So if you want to mount this to your pistol, make sure you have the right plate. The DeltaPro Pro, they have their own footprint, so also be aware of that. Make sure you got the right plate to mount this dot on, or you have a compatible pistol. Now, I saw quite a few people use this as a main optics as opposed to backup optics and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been proven, and it's durable as heck. And why would you buy this in 2023 versus something like a Holosun? Because, like I said, it's proven throughout its lifespan, and even now, there are people still using this, and it's fine with them. Even the battery is abysmal. Anyway, now this optics would cost you around $350 to $400. You can get this on Bowtech for like $350. I think it's worth every penny. Yeah, even with the cons, it's still worth it over something like the Holosun, because the Holosun is not, proven throughout history as far as durability go, but the Leupold DeltaPro has, and it has been through the ringer. And it also set you back like an extra $100 or so for the rear sight, so keep that in mind. But if you have a high sight on your pistol, then who cares? Now I'm gonna grade these. Now I automatically take 1 point off of all the open emitter red dot site, because you have 3 surface to worry about as opposed to 2. So you have the emitter surface, which is down there somewhere, and then the back glass and the front glass. So you have 3 surface to worry about if somehow they got covered up with dust and mud and grime, stuff like that. You got 3 surface to worry about as opposed to a closed emitter, which is you only need to worry about the front and the back surface of the optics as opposed to the 3 surface. So that's 1 point taken off of all open emitter red dot. Now I've taken 1 point off the DeltaPro Pro because of the battery life, 300 battery life. Imagine if you're in the field and you ran out of battery. Imagine if you're in like Ukraine war and you don't have an extra battery or something, only 300 hours of battery life. So this could be a problem. So minus 1 point for DeltaPro Pro. I also took half a point off because of the design of the gasket on the DeltaPro Pro. So you're looking at 7.5 out of 10 for DeltaPro Pro. And as far as the holosun goes, again, I took 1 point out of the open red dot. So that's 9. And a point off because it hasn't proven within the military or maybe police department. So but that's about it. The holosun got everything, the battery and it's more compact. It's a little bit smaller than the Leupold DeltaPro Pro, but I don't mind the spacious window of the DeltaPro Pro. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. So 8 out of 10 for the holosun because I mean, you can't beat holosun in terms of bang for your buck. But again, why would you buy the DeltaPro Pro over the holosun? It's because it's been proven, like I said, and when you buy these, if you buy used, you're looking around $250 for a used one. Again, make sure that it's real, it has all the right marking and stuff like that. So $250, I would definitely, for home defense and just training and stuff like that, I would go with the DeltaPro Pro over the holosun, even though I only give it a 7.5 out of 10 versus the holosun 8 out of 10. So if you want to save a little bit of money, buy used. You don't need to buy new. Yeah. So that's it. That's it for my review. I hope you guys like it. Don't forget to like, subscribe. And YouTube has been a really bad platform for GunTuber. I mean, they had all kind of censorship and shadow ban and stuff like that. And I can tell, from the view counts and all the stuff. So make sure you like, subscribe, and share the video. And remember, if anybody asks you, are you armed? Tell them no, you're armed AF. Peace out.